Well, greetings and welcome. Have you ever had one of those moments in your life where you feel like nothing seems to be going right? I came across this passage in one of my wisdom texts that talked about the need to retreat from the world. If you're an introvert like me and you've grown up and you're used to solitude to get your thoughts together, to try to understand other people's perceptions of you, then you know what I'm talking about. I realized a long time ago that spending time alone with myself, I can avoid many of the problems and confrontations that I have with other people who don't understand a particular worldview or the way I look at the world as it is. In my own solitude, I can go into my imagination. I can write my private thoughts. I can read the things I want to read, look at the things I want to look at, and feel a sense of fulfillment. I've always been that way. I'm not a person who likes to be in the crowds and socialize with a large amount of people. I have a select amount of friends, mentors, associates, colleagues that I deal with periodically. And you as introverts know that that's not going to change and nobody's going to change you. But sometimes you struggle with others who are more outgoing, extroverted, social bugs. You enjoy their company for the most part. But then there are times when you feel like they impose on you and they have these expectations of you. And you try to meet those expectations sometimes. Many times you fail to meet those expectations. And it's not because there's some flaw with you or some flaw with the other person. It's just the difference in personality and worldview. And there are several books on the market that talks about how introverts get re-energized and reinvigorated. And many times it has to do with us having that alone time and just being with our own thoughts. We're among few people who could sit with our own thoughts or sit with no thoughts, and be perfectly content with it. And we sit there and we read and we do the things we enjoy, and time just kind of passes us by. I've had moments where days have passed by and I was just sitting. I'd take breaks, of course, to go to the restroom, maybe take my dogs out for a walk, socialize a little bit. But for the most part, I enjoy being in solitude. Doesn't mean I'm lonely, but I do like being alone for the most part. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Because for me, being alone, I don't have to deal with other people's judgments, critiques, perceptions, expectations, things of that nature. Now, that's not to say that I live a complete life of a monk, although I can empathize with what monks do. I do like to socialize with the world, engage with the world, but on my own terms and my own time. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. I've come across several people who have very, very similar experiences, and I'm sure you do too. That's why you're watching this video. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. So to come back to the theme of retreat, this is a idea or concept that I've read in numerous books, especially with regard to people that are considered deep thinkers, philosophers, or introverts. Although I'm not sure if introverts think any deeper than extroverts necessarily. It's just they have a different approach to the world at large. But we do think about things deeply. We do think about time, like the limited amount of time, the finite amount of time that we have walking on this planet, relating to other people, creating the things we want to create enjoying the life as it's given to us, or constructing the life that we want. Some of us, unfortunately, have struggled to try to construct this life and found ourselves back in the same place, so to speak, wondering, maybe I need to change, maybe I need to become more extroverted, maybe I need to socialize with other people, maybe I need to meet other people's expectations. And you go out and you do that, and guess what happens? You disappoint not only the person that you're trying to impress or expectations that you're trying to meet, or you end up feeling unfulfilled. I want to use the word depression because it sort of implies that happiness is something that's ongoing, and it's not. I mean, happiness comes from seeking things we enjoy that reward us in various ways, having a sense of accomplishment, feeling respected, trustworthy. That's where those feelings eventually come from. That's where those feelings evidently come from. We're not wired to be happy all the time, if we want to use that term. We have to do the things that make us feel fulfilled rather than looking for a quick solution. And most of those solutions, they are quick and they never last long. You usually end up seeking more of that same thing, or you usually end up seeking more of that same thing only to be disappointed and jaded, bored, you know? I like when people talk about, oh, I'm bored. Well, maybe you need to but maybe you need to create something to look forward to. Something that feels rewarding. Something that gives you pride in what you did. And remember, these things don't last forever, right? But you do it to keep going. So you do the things you do to get those feelings of enthusiasm and excitement and elatedness. Realize it's fleeting, but that's okay. Our normal state is a calm equilibrium, but often we fight against that. We want to be excited all the time. We want people to respect us all the time, you know? And that's just not the reality. At least it hasn't been for me, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Now, others don't always understand that perspective. I've had experiences where people literally tried to change me, criticize me, and say things about my personality and my demeanor. But I'm perfectly fine with my personality. I came to terms with who I am a long time ago. It's the challenge for me is finding someone who understands and can come to terms with who I am. But that's okay. That's an ongoing adventure. And I would never expect anyone close to me, friends, family, to completely understand that viewpoint, except another introvert. Anyway, I think I ranted on long enough. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you come to terms with who you are? Have you considered retreating from the world periodically to try to understand yourself? Learn who this person is that you have become, that other people expect you to be. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you again soon. I'm Khonsura, the Kung Fu creator. Thank you for your time and your attention. Stay inspired and inspirational.